Welcome back to New Mexico Entertainment Television, where you continue to be in the know with all things events and entertainment in New Mexico. I'm Teresa Robinson, and on this evening's show, we'll be talking about topics from our August issue, which is our art issue. On this month's episode, we have artists Lady Jenn D, Doomkitten, and Helena Tsosie, plus Abigail Martinez of the Cumbres and Toltec Scenic Railroad, Brittany and Jerry Hepworth, owners of Artisans ABQ and 3017 Gallery, Kristin Mackey and Caleb Esquivel of Jesus Christ Superstar at Albuquerque Little Theater, our community question, entertainment history, and our music minute featuring Dre Z Melodi. So, let's get started. Lady Jenn D describes herself as a visual DJ, blending imagery and text to craft imaginative visual realms. Tonight, we discuss her art and upcoming exhibitions. Thank you, Jennifer, or as I should say, Lady Jenn D. I love that name. Thank you for joining me tonight to talk more about your art. So I want to start. How did you break down the name?
Well, that was given to me by my husband. I think it was before we got married, and he said, "You are Lady Jenn Diesel because you're a tough lady," which is really weird because I'm really not. So my last name is also DeSantis. Mm-hmm. I am not related to Ron DeSantis.
I knew we were going to have to clear that up.
I always just have to preface it. I did make sure to make sure that is
true. I
true.
looked into my history.
Yes, I definitely did. And so yeah, that's where it came from. My awesome husband, and it stuck. It makes sense. And so yeah.
I don't know. Maybe he's seeing something in you that you're not seeing in yourself. Would you feel that's how you feel about your art?
Yeah, because he's my twin flame.
He's my twin flame.
Yes.
I love it.
And yeah, definitely with the art, like when I'm creating art, I look at it when I'm done and I'm like, oh, that makes sense, or oh, that's what I have to work on. Mm-hmm. It's either epiphanatical, it's healing in some sort of way. Like
and
that.
I like the fact that you could call yourself an artist, but you are a visual DJ.
Yeah.
Is how you put it. So explain how that came into play.
That came into play a few years ago. People really don't know what collage is.
Yeah.
The general consensus is like, I've done a vision board. And I'm like, that's great. That technically is collage. And it's more considered a craft. Like, people associate it like, oh, decoupage. They'll know decoupage, but not really understand collage. So I was kind of like, how can I explain this? Well, everybody knows and loves music. Mm-hmm. So I just had the notion one day that like, oh, I'm a visual DJ. Just like a DJ remixes sounds to create songs, I remix images and sometimes words to create imaginative visual realms. And it's a great icebreaker. It really does help people get it. And it puts collage into a context of an art form rather than a craft, I think. So
being that you are here in New Mexico, how does that play into inspiring this art?
We moved here about 8 years ago from the Deep South, from Atlanta, Georgia, and the environment is remarkably different in all the ways.
Yes,
and,
it is.
I have been inspired by the Southwestern palette. There's nothing like our sky, mm-hmm. And then the contrast with all of the rusts and the browns and things like that. Like, it's just such a beautiful contrast. So the desert landscape being new to me was really inspiring. So I've begun to add, since I moved here, I've begun to add like cacti in my work and hummingbirds in a lot of my art collage, and a lot of my collages, and different elements of New Mexico, sometimes roadrunners if I can find one, sunflowers, so definitely just the landscape itself is truly inspiring.
And I am looking at this right here. You're wearing your art. So is all of your art, I know that it's working with collage, do you for instance, is this just a print that you created that went on fabric, or was it created? Do you
so
just use
this
different
was an
mediums?
original. Mm-hmm. This was a hand cut and pasted collage on a wood panel, which is really common for my original art. And I photograph all my work and then I digitally edit it. And there's so many options for artists as far as like how can we reach people that are too intimidated to buy original art, can't afford it. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm one of those people. And so there was an opportunity that presented itself to put your art on clothing, and that's really evolved. So one of the first designs I did like on my own, I had a Society 6 shop. That was a little different. This I use Printful.com, and I'm able to really control the design completely. And so the t-shirt dresses are how this all started.
And I know that your art kind of landed at Mothership Alumni. So there are quite a few galleries. What was it about this one that spoke to you?
Honestly, like I've just been downtown the entire time I've lived here. And when I first moved here, I was asked to help activate OT Circus Gallery. And that's how I met Joel and Steph, who run the Mothership Alumni. So we've known each other for several years. And I started exhibiting my work in his gallery in 2021. 2021, the end of 2021. And time is so weird, right?
Yep.
And so then he had a meeting in December of that year and was like, hey, there's some studio spaces available right at the end of the meeting. And I was like, oh, what's available? And one of the spaces that was available is right next to my friend Sonia Loivano. Oh. And so, yep, I know you know her too.
Yes, I do.
And so it just worked out like really fatefully and just really beautifully. It just flowed really well. And now I've been there for over 2 years, and I've started helping out on Saturdays during our open hours.
Where can people find out more about you?
I have a ton of stuff going on. I'm going to forget something. So ABQ Art Walk is tomorrow. Yep. So that's first Friday. I will have my studio open. I open up part of my space to another collage artist. Every other month I have a guest artist that I invite into my space just to share the space and the art walk vibes, and hopefully they can generate some income as well. So that's happening tomorrow, 5 to 9 p.m. Studio number 9, 105 4th Street Southwest. And on the 17th at the Mothership from 12 to 4, music starts around 1. I'm co-hosting Saturday Soundscapes. This will be our second Saturday Soundscape, and I'm working with Joshua Baker, who is known as Residential Life Artist and Rogue Scholar on Instagram.
Very long title.
Yeah, it's got all the handles, and he does like experimental, like synth, moog, moods, and what we're trying to cultivate is like a relaxing, like down tempo, vibey, just like a really kind of like come in and just it's an invitation to immerse yourself in beautiful sounds and beautiful art. Lovely. And we have a couple of guest artisan vendors as well.
Very cool. So where can people see your artwork when it comes online?
You can actually follow me on social media. I'm only on Facebook and Instagram, but everything's easy. It's at LadyJennD, LadyJennD. And then I'm also on the web, LadyJennD.bigcartel.com, which I think somebody so nicely put on the screen.
Yeah. Is it? There it is!
Yeah.
Lady Jenn D, thank you so much for joining me tonight, and I appreciate you coming in and sharing more about your art.
Oh, thanks for having me. I'm so happy to finally meet you.
Yes, I feel the same way. Absolutely.
Yes.
Thank we'll be back. New Mexico artist Doomkitten skyrocketed to fame after an appearance on a popular reality show. However, the talent was always present long before the spotlight hit him. Tonight we delve into his beginnings, explore his work with various mediums, and discover the ways in which New Mexico serves as a source of inspiration. Thank you so much for joining us this evening, and I really just got to start with the first question. Doomkitten.
Yeah.
How did that name even come to fruition?
So I love Doctor Doom. Love comic books. I've loved him. He was my favorite character. Bad guy. I loved him, and I love cats. I really love cats, and I don't know. There was this video game that came out in the early 2000s. No one remembers it. It was called World of Warcraft. Everyone played World of Warcraft.
I was just like, hold on. I know I was not the big video game person. I was like, I know that one.
Yeah. So my character's name was Doomkitten. And then when social media really picked up and you could pick your name, your identity, I always used Doomkitten. It was always my username, my screen name. And then I appeared on a hit TV show, syndicated and filmed nationwide under the name. And then it just became my name. So...
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go back to when Doomkitten was a kid.
Okay.
When it comes to terms of art, like where did it start for you?
Oh, I think it really started with comic books. I'm like a lot of artists, the imagination, the getting to see stories with images put there, and I would read all these comics, and I would really judge by the art. Like even as a kid, it'd be like good art, bad art, and when it was really good art, I just envied it. Like I'd want to do it. I had all these ideas that I wanted to tell, and I just needed to practice the art. Really funny that my mom is a huge part of how, I was good at it. She would ground me all the time, all the time. And, but she would leave me with art supplies. And at some point, I would draw these characters, I'd write these stories, I'd make little worlds, and I would show them to her. And I actually think that she grounded me. Like she would just make up reasons to ground me because I would go to my room and just like grumble, but start, working on something. Yeah. So I thank my mom for grounding me all the time.
Oh my gosh. That's the inspiration right there.
Yeah.
So I know for some artists, their art is a message. It's a way to express themselves. When did you discover or realize that your art meant something to, a person viewing it?
It was always for me, it was always the stories I wanted to tell. It was always the characters I wanted to create, and I try to capture those emotions. And the first time I noticed it was, by trade, I'm a tattoo artist. I draw and paint all the time as well. But somebody flew in from Japan specifically to get tattooed by me.
Wow.
And it flattered me so much. And he was explaining things in my art that he saw and he felt, and he was talking about movement and emotion. I always felt like I was never quite there, but having someone kind of confirm that you have moved a feeling in somebody else really, did it. And now I just try to double down on that with everyone. I'm like, I don't even like my drawing unless it's validated by another human who's like, God, I saw this and it was beautiful and soft. And I'm like, yes, thank you. I can sleep now.
So, how do you handle the transfer of medium? Doing from working on skin to working on canvas, is it a big switch for you in order to get to that?
It was, early on, they were two separate things. I would draw and I would paint, and it was natural and normal and felt like breathing. And then I would start tattooing, and it was just this clunky mess. It really was. And then at some point I had... through friends and other artists and people who were living in both worlds, and we would hang out and have these critique nights and these paint nights, and they helped really facilitate, I guess, combining both of them. Both of them became one thing, and so that's really how it was. It was through the help of other artists that I could just combine that vision. So
you are living in New Mexico, and I know for people, New Mexico will provide a lot of inspiration. How does it inspire you?
New Mexico inspires me because I have never lived or worked in a place where people are as hungry as they are here. Other places, people are just trying to compete. They're trying to, do this whole thing. But for some reason, New Mexico, so many people here are so genuine to themselves. And I think that always shows through in every artist. The more genuine and true to themselves they are, the better, more original and unique the art is.
Yeah.
And New Mexico is filled with that.
So where can people find out more about your art?
The best place to find out about it is Instagram. The social media at Doomkitten is where I put, my online art journals, my thoughts after I complete anything. I really ride that Instagram a lot. I also try to have in-person art events, and if you can find your way to make to one of those, we'd love to have you.
So once again, Doomkitten, thank you so much for coming in tonight, and we will definitely be keeping an eye on your work.
Absolutely. Thank you, Teresa.
Thank you. We'll be back.
Beautiful amongst creation, but never can forget the flowers sunray. No matter with the mountain top excluded, fresh air, forest, water streaming. Summer chant from Melodi. I like a loving mind of children to pray. We must be peaceful.
Seeking something fun, new, and exciting? The Cumbres and Toltec Scenic Railroad, a 64-mile National Historic Landmark, offers a scenic Rocky Mountain journey. Abigail Martinez, Marketing Manager, joins us to discuss their upcoming events. So, Abby, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm excited to learn more about the railroad. I've pretty much have seen commercials or advertisements, but I would like to get to know a little bit about the history. So how did it all begin?
Yes, so Cumbres and Toltec today is known as the longest and highest narrow gauge railroad in America. We were established as what is now known Cumbres and Toltec in about 1970, but the same tracks were built in 1880. So Cumbres and Toltec today is now part of what was part of the Denver and Rio Grande Western Railway, originally established by William Palmer. He had the idea of building this railroad. The original idea was actually to go down into Mexico, but when they were building it here, he somewhat got distracted and started building to Durango and Silverton because they were having a big gold and silver boom. So why not go that way? So that is kind of what is now known as the Cumbres and Toltec Scenic Railroad, which runs between Antonito, Colorado and Chama, New Mexico. We are state-owned to date. So when the railroad put up for abandonment, the two states came together and they saved what they thought was the most scenic part. And that is today what we do offer our guests. We are now primarily a scenic railroad. Every now and then we'll run some of our historic freight cars to remake what a scene from 1880 would have looked like. But even today, every single guest is riding tracks that were first laid in 1880.
And of course, us being an entertainment publication and show, some folks who are probably thinking, okay, it's a train. Like, really, what can we expect? So that's what we're here for. What can a couple expect on a night out on one of the trains?
Yes. So I like to explain our railroad as a time capsule or a slow down in time. In today's society, everything is so fast paced. So we offer a trip back in time to kind of disconnect, enjoy the views, enjoy the beauty, all the scenery. We do have everything from high mountain desert to tunnels, to trestles, to meadows, rivers. We also do offer a lot of, night trips, dinners, which can make a good date night, if you will. We do have trains called our Outlaw Express that we will be offering. It's a shorter option, and it does include some local breweries, entertainment, barbecue, surf and turf type dinner. So we do offer that.
Nice.
On our normal everyday excursions, we also do offer 3 classes of service from our first class parlor car, deluxe car, and our classic coach car. So we do have something for everybody here.
I know that there are some events that are coming up, and I heard amazing things about the 4th of July
Yes.
ride that you did. So what are some of the upcoming events you have?
So one again is our Outlaw Express dinner trains. We do have one in August, and we have another one in October. And of course, we will also have our popular geology train also in September. So that's a very popular train as well. A lot of geological and volcanic formations along our railroad. And of course, the busy fall, beautiful season as well.
And that's beautiful enough entertainment. We're just taking that moment to just take in the nature of our state. So where can people find out more about how to purchase tickets and take part?
Yes, so you can find more information on our website at cumbres.toltec.com or by giving us a call. Any one of our reservation agents can answer all of your questions. So our phone number is 888-286-2737.
Well, Abby, thank you again for joining me today to talk more about the railroads, and we're excited to take part in one and see what it's all about.
Yes, thank you for having me. And, we would like to welcome everybody aboard, especially those who live in the state of New Mexico. This is your home train, so come and ride with us.
Albuquerque Little Theater fosters theater appreciation with full stage productions and innovative educational programs. Their 2025 season is creating a buzz, especially when it comes to their upcoming production, Andrew Lloyd Webber's Jesus Christ Superstar. We're excited to have Christian Mackey and Caleb Esquivel to tell us more about it. Thanks, guys, for joining me this evening to talk more about the new production at Albuquerque Little Theater. But first, I wanted to start with, there were some folks that may have been living under a rock and didn't know what Albuquerque Little Theater is. Can you tell us a little bit about where you guys are taking that production into play?
So Albuquerque Little Theater was founded in 1930. It's a nice historical old building, and it has just put on amazing productions. I remember going there as a kid, and now just honored to be a part of a cast in one of the shows now. It's kind of like this cool full circle moment for me.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for me, it's actually my first time ever being a part of Albuquerque Little Theater and even acting in Albuquerque. So it's kind of like my debut. So I'm definitely so excited to be a part of this production and just opening up the 25th season.
So your new production is Jesus Christ Superstar, classic. How has it been being a part of the cast?
It is so much fun. I enjoy every single moment of being a part of the crew, the cast. Just even walking through the building is just so warm and so just inviting. And I honestly wouldn't even ask for any other cast to be a part of.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, as my first cast, I felt like when I walked into auditions, callbacks, it felt like everyone knew each other. And I was like, oh gosh, I'm this nobody. I'm never going to get cast in this because I don't know who anybody is. And then to find out that, I think even Jesus as well is his first ALT debut. And I was like, oh, that's great. I'm not the only one here that's like, it's my first show here. And again, everyone is so awesome. Our choreographer, our music director, our director, stage manager, everyone's just so nice. And then suddenly I just felt like a part of the family within like a week. Suddenly I'm friends with everyone and everyone's adding me on Facebook. And I was like, oh, I'm not ready for this to end. And we haven't even like gotten to the full, the full blocking and whatnot yet. But it's such a great group that we're a part of.
So talk about a little bit about your characters. Tell us who you are playing in the musical.
I am Mary Magdalene. I love I saw that. I love her character. I feel like I can relate to her in a way as well, as far as her just just trying to find love for somebody. And I feel like she has met a man, Jesus Christ, and showing her that she has true love, that she could be loved and not seen as a person that she was, because she is a prostitute, as a lot of people know. And I know that since I am a believer, I am a Christian, that I do believe that that I found true love in Jesus Christ as well. So I feel like I can relate to that, and I love Mary Magdalene.
And I'm priest number 2 and part of the ensemble, but I get to be in the villain song, which is one of my favorite songs, and then I'm basically Jesus' personal guard. I'm the one that takes him everywhere in all of Act 2. I'm there during the lashes scene. I'm the one holding him in place. So it's kind of an emotional moment to be there and being the one that's like, I'm holding Jesus Christ in place while he's getting whipped. And then on top of that, me and Simon Zealots, we've just created this backstory for our characters because we fight a lot, and it's just fun to see why, wonder why do we hate each other? But it's because I'm a priest, he's an apostle, and it's a fun role that I'm enjoying. Even if it's like, it's great. It's so much fun.
So when it comes to what you want the audience to walk away from after seeing this, what do you want them to walk away feeling?
I would like the audience to walk away with a sense of a message of love and acceptance for everybody.
And also just dealing, what mental illness looks like and how to deal with that. I think, you'll see in the biography of what the director's going for, but there's a very strong message in that as well. And kind of just seeing, this sort of story, but in today's lens and how that would reflect. And I think it's going to be, a lot of people are going to walk away with a lot of that was a really great interpretation that I would have never thought to put these two together. And I think it's awesome.
Wonderful. So where can people learn more about the production, Albuquerque Little Theater, and where to get tickets?
Again, look up Albuquerque Little Theater. Facebook, Instagram is great. They have all the links there. If you just look up Albuquerque Little Theater, they have I know there's the links for the tickets and whatnot. But definitely follow their social medias because the promotional material is so cool. The photography is amazing. You got to see this awesome picture they got of her and Jesus and all of our main cast. It looks
amazing.
So professional. It looks like a movie. It's going to be awesome.
You're making it sound so exciting. Thank you for coming in tonight and telling us more about the production, and we look forward to seeing it.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
We'll be back. Helena Tsosie of Morningstar Designs showcases fashion as art. Blending creativity with heritage, Tsosie crafts unique garments in high demand. Tonight, we discuss her inspiration and her journey. Helena, thank you so much for joining me this evening. I'm really excited to talk about your work. So I'm going to start with a question that I think is something some people have seen in fashion. Is clothing art?
Absolutely it is, because what you're wearing, you can express yourself through what you're wearing.
So let's talk about that for a minute. We're going to talk about it with this. This is one of your pieces.
Yes, it is. I made this for Santa Fe Market last year.
Oh my God. How long does a piece like this take?
This took me 12 hours from start to finish.
Oh my goodness, and it's beautiful.
Thank
I
you.
know your Native American heritage plays a big part in your art. So tell us how that works into your pieces.
This represents, of course, the rainbows because of the colors, and then my on my mother's side, salt water. So that's where I got the blue. It's the blue represents the water part of my clan.
So how did it all begin for you? When did you realize, you know what, this is what I want to do to express my art?
During the pandemic.
So, yep. That seems to be how people find themselves in some way. Yes.
Right. Had nothing else to do. Well, actually, when I was younger, my mom, she bought me my first Holly Hobby sewing machine. So I appreciate my mom for that. And I just watched her while I was growing up because she would make all our clothing while we were in school and stuff. And in high school is when I, kind of touched on it through classes. And then I stepped away from it for a long time until my daughter started dancing in powwow. And then I decided to make all her stuff and then make my family's stuff for them.
Wow. Well, living here in New Mexico, does that also inspire the work?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I mean, the sunsets, the sunrises, the sandias, just all the different colors and just the designs, like the flowers, the cactuses, everything. Just everything can just stand out when you're trying to make something.
Absolutely. And how far has the art taken you?
Oh, wow. All over the United States, Canada. One of my skirts has actually gone to Norway.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's pretty big. I'm excited for.
That's wonderful. And I heard that your shop, it's completely run on solar?
Yes.
Oh, so how, I mean, in a period where it just seems like electricity is just a straight way to go, how did you even set all of that up?
We decided to settle here in New Mexico during the pandemic. Because we were just traveling all over the United States, and I would just sew out of my little travel trailer. So we decided to settle here, and then I purchased a little plastic 8x12 storage shed, and my husband set up all the solar stuff, and that's how I run.
Okay, so I do have to ask, being that this is probably one of our hottest summers, like, how are you handling the work within that shed?
It's hot. It's hot.
But you still get it done.
I do. Somehow I do. I don't know how. It's just concentrating on what I'm making, and by the time I know it, the sun's going down. And
So where can people find more of your work?
I am on Instagram under @Tsosie Morningstar, and Facebook under Morningstar Designs, and then TikTok under Helena Tsosie.
Wonderful. Well, thank you, Helena, again for joining me tonight and talking more about your art. It is gorgeous.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, absolutely. We'll be back. Brittany and Jerry Hepworth are keeping the legacy of artisan ABQ alive. Now, proud owners, their mission is to keep providing a creative space for the art community in New Mexico. Tonight we talk about the third generation serving the community and the addition of the 3017 Gallery. Thank you, Brittany and Jerry, for being here tonight, and congratulations of being the proud owners of Artisan. I'm very excited that it's going to stay in New Mexico.
Thank you.
Yeah. So what is it about the art community that's a drive for you?
Absolutely. Well, I think it's an amazing community in itself. There's so much vibrancy in the culture and diversity, and the landscapes are to die for.
Yeah, absolutely.
The sunsets and you name it.
Yeah.
So it's been wonderful.
Well, it's, I really appreciate the support of the community that we've gotten ever since 2022 when we took over. Pretty much the end of the store wasn't really going to stick around for very much longer.
Yeah.
And Brittany and I decided, look, we're not going to let that happen. We're going to come in, we're going to, do what we can. And luckily we were able to take it over and make things happen, and we're still here. So.
I'm like I said, I'm really excited about that. I mean, I would take my son into your store, and brings memories. So I'm glad that that memory is staying here.
Thank
and
you.
it's not going anywhere because you actually purchased the building.
Yes, ma'am.
It's
Absolutely.
all to continue the legacy.
Yep.
And like I grew up at Artisans, so my dad was one of the partners of the original Santa Fe store. And so now what we've done is we actually have split the stores. So Santa Fe's owned independently and the Albuquerque store is owned independently. So it
wonderful.
allows us really the opportunity to grow. Yeah.
And one way you grew is the gallery itself, 3017 that you have. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so the 3017 Gallery, it's located on the lower level of Artisan ABQ on 3017 Monte Vista Boulevard,
Yes.
right next to UNM. But you know, it's a creative space. You know, it was underutilized for a long time, and we went in there, redid it, repainted everything, and it's really it's a showcase piece. So if you get a chance, stop by and check it out. But we have you know, events down there. We have it's a full gallery, so every second Saturday of every month we do have a gallery down there. It's open to the public, and it's free. So yeah.
That's wonderful. So how has the second Saturdays been going? So far?
Amazing. It's been really cool because we switch up the exhibits monthly and each show has a new theme. And what we do is we create creative centers. So there's different art supplies down on the table. So if someone hadn't tried pastel yet, they could try pastel or acrylic or watercolor. And it's really just something for the community to bring it together and have artists create.
That is cool.
And we even have little kids doing it too. So if you have little children, no worries. You can bring them in too, and they can create as well.
And I'm guessing you've been utilizing, of course, our local artists here in town.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Wonderful artists, great community, you know, so long they've been what kept Artisan alive. So it's cool to provide a space and really see the full circle of art from where it gets started to create in a first thought all the way to fruition where they're hanging the gallery. And for some, this is the first time they had ever shown in a gallery. And some, it's just getting more exposure for a well-established artist.
Well, where can people learn more about upcoming events, what artists you'll have in store, and just about the shop in general?
Yeah. Absolutely, that's a great question. So you can always check us out at artisanabq.com. And while you're there, you can subscribe to our newsletter as well, so you can get all the updated information. You can go to our website and /calendar, artisanabq /calendar, and check out all of our workshops, our classes that are coming up. You can also see our events that are displayed down there as well. We're on YouTube at ArtisanABQ, and then all social media at ArtisanABQ on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. So
Nice
yeah.
job. Well,
Thank you.
Brittany, Jared, he's like, he remembered all of us.
Oh, and always, don't forget, you can always stop in the store at 3017 Monte Vista Boulevard Northeast, right next to UNM.
And if anybody actually has to know where that is, I'm just telling you right now, right next to the shop. Shop, breakfast, and lunch. Awesome place to go if you have
100%.
not been there.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Amazing food.
Yes, Brittany and Jerry, thank you again for coming in tonight, and thank you for keeping a piece of history near the university area. It is appreciated by all.
Miss Teresa, thank you so much for your you too. Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll be back. This is your New Mexico Entertainment in 60. The Bosque Chili and Music Fest is a 2-day event celebrating the food, art, music, culture, and of course chili that defines New Mexico. Bosque Chili and Music Fest takes place on August 23rd through the 24th at Expo New Mexico in Albuquerque. The Pirate Viking Summer Festival is a celebration for all ages of pirates and Vikings, with performances, food, vendors, and more. The Pirate Viking Summer Festival takes place on August 23rd through the 25th at Wildlife West Nature Park in Edgewood. Old Man Gloom goes up in flames for another year at the burning of Zozobra. The annual event has become a time of renewal, laughter, and rebirth. The burning of Zozobra takes place on August 30th at Fort Macy Park in Santa Fe. This has been your New Mexico Entertainment in 60. For more events and entertainment, visit nmentertains.com. Thank you for joining us for this month's episode of New Mexico Entertainment Television, where you continue to be in the know. Join us next month as we cover topics from our September issue, which is our music issue. Have a good night. For more events and entertainment, visit nmentertains.com.